Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us this evening on Tarnation TV. We are live at Pocono with the Maverick Cup Series, so this should be a lot of fun. Great big massive track, Pocono, the one and only. Thanks for joining myself, Blaine, and of course Rod Weston is here as well. Good evening, Mr. Weston.
Well, hello, everybody out there. Yeah, it's been a pretty busy week for me, but yeah, no, Pocono. This is something I saw that was really weird with this track. Very, very bumpy. It's actually a newly freshly paved look to it, but I'm watching the cars bounce around quite a bit. Pocono is always a fun track. There's a lot, 3 different corners to kind of figure out. Anybody that was really good last week at the Mill Muck and Wild that we had with these guys, last week's winner was Josh Mercurio. They're going to do real good in 3, but in 3. There's no 4 tracks. There's 3. And the rest of it, they're just going to have to figure out. Turn 1 is Trenton, Turn 2 is Indy, so it's a fun track.
And you were mentioning too that this is the longest the longest straightaway in NASCAR.
Oh yeah, it's a long run down there. I forget the exact actual footage of it, but as you'll see during the broadcast, they'll come off Turn 3, and they'll be tucked in, drafting with each other, fanning out a little bit, depending on how the draft is working out. And, it's really a long fast. And then you come into, if anybody's familiar with the track called Trenton, it is actually Turn 3 and 4 at Trenton is what Turn 1 is. It's a fairly decently banked corner, so you kind of go in there okay, but you have to be a little cautious. You obviously do not want to attack it too hard. You'll end up way too high and then lose a lot of spots.
See, I noticed here too, going back to the front straightaway thing, it says it's 3,740 feet according to the info page on the track info. So that, yeah,
very long,
super wide. It's very, very cool. A lot of people don't like this track. It's 2.5 miles long, one of the longer tracks, and it's not a super speedway. It's far from it, but yeah, it leads to some cool racing.
It took me a while to really get to where I actually started to like this track. Just because it is such a difficult track. I love Turn 3 and 4, flat track, so that's one of my favorites. Always did well there. Turn 1 isn't really that bad, but Turn 2, it took me a while. Even though it's basically Indy, it just took me a while to get used to it. Most versions of this, that's where the tunnel is, so it has a bump there, and it used to always kind of throw me off. But once you get used to it, you basically kind of almost go down the short straight. They call it the short straight, and you do just like you would at Indy. If you've ever raced at Indy, you kind of go down that long straightaway, you kind of start to turn, you lift a little bit, let the car kind of roll, and then you just kind of roll back on the gas and go.
Yeah, you're sort of like you're flicking it into the turn, sort of.
Yeah, so you know how you would at Indy. You like I said, you get a long straightaway. When you get to those corners, you lift. You don't brake. You just kind of lift, and then just roll right back into the gas and go. And that's exactly what you do here on Turn 2.
And it's funny. Let's show this screen here. This is just the menu screen. Get this stuff out of the way here. They've actually got this graphic that shows that it's almost a 5-turn track. So what I would call Turn 2 is technically Turn 3 on this diagram. I'm looking at it at 1, 2, 3 turns, right? Because it's a triangle.
It's a 3-corner track, but what they do is a lot of the racers will break corners down into 1 and 2. The reason why they do that, they break it in half, so that way when you come in and they do what's called landing, the car comes in, you're hitting the brakes, the car lands. So you want to know what is it doing when it lands. And then about in the middle of the track, now you're going to get off the brakes, you're going to get back on the throttle. Now that's Turn 2. They want to know what it's doing. So a good driver can break the corner down, at least in 2. Some of them will break it down into like 3 or 4 parts and tell you what it's doing in those different parts.
Right. So we'll just call it Turn 1, 2, and 3, but they're almost naming, like with Turns 1 and 3, they're kind of the entrance and the exit. They've called it, its own thing. But yeah, it's looking at that diagram too, it looks like they got some pretty wild infield stuff going on. NASCAR doesn't race in there, obviously, but
there's a lot of go-kart racing and stuff like that goes on in the infield. There's many different little road courses. They're actually I believe it might have been in the infield too. There was a small short track that was in there at one point in time.
Oh, okay. Have you ever been to Pocono?
Nope, I don't live that far away from it. Probably about 5 hours away, but I've never been to it.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? It's like 5 hours sounds like it's far away, but when you think about how big the planet is, you're not really that far.
No. I mean, it's a bit of a pilgrimage from here, but it's really not that bad. But no, if anybody's ever been to a NASCAR race, and, you know, it's a little bit different style. It's a little bit more, you know, you don't see as much, whatever. If you've never been, you really at least got to go experience one of them. It's unreal when they're doing 70, 80 miles an hour under caution. You think about it. The speed that you're driving down the interstate, you're doing 30, you're doing 65 miles an hour down the interstate, is what it is around here. And these guys are going faster than that under caution.
Yeah. That's their safe speed.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's incredible. And the speeds that they travel are unreal. I've been to Daytona. I've been to just Charlotte on the infield. And the speeds at Daytona was unreal. I sat right next to the fence, just kind of focused straight in. And the cars were going by so fast, there was only one car that I could recognize, and that was Michael Waltrip. And the only reason I could recognize it was the only yellow car it was running. It was driving the Country Time yellow car. That was the only reason I could tell you that I knew that he went by.
Wow.
It was just a yellow blur.
Yeah, and the power too, right? Like 40 cars, 200 plus mile an hour. It's crazy.
When you're walking down through there was a gentleman in front of me, about 30 feet in front of me, with this, you know, proud little baseball hat on. I don't remember what driver it was. And he was probably about 10 feet away from the fence, and a pack of 8 cars went by. His hat went by me and flew behind me.
Yeah, just knocked it right off, eh?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Unreal. In the suction, you wouldn't believe it. You're standing, you know, 3 feet away from the fence, and when the cars go by, you can feel it just pull you into the fence.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's incredible. And it's the same, I would imagine. Although Pocono, you can't get as close to the track at Pocono as you can at Daytona. But it's you know, it's just the amount of inertia that goes by is just incredible.
Wow. I've never been to a NASCAR race, and I think, I mean, I'm close enough to get Michigan, Watkins Glen, like there's New York State, there's some tracks in there, Michigan. You know, I got a buddy of mine, he's gone to a few the last couple of years. They never were NASCAR fans either, but him and the boys do something every year, and they were like, hey, let's do some NASCAR stuff. So they've been doing NASCAR races. I think they went to Nashville, they did Michigan, they're going to Bristol, all kinds of cool stuff like that. One of these days I'll definitely have to go and get it. But yeah, speaking of that too, of going to NASCAR races, this week, of course, we're at Pocono. Next week, you can see on the screen there, we're going to be at Road America, June 17th, right here. 9 p.m. is when we go green, almost, sort of, in the ballpark.
Fun road course. I like that place. Lots of speed, lots of finesse.
Yeah.
Still, I've got around there pretty darn good. I just still struggle with the carousel, but other than that, Canada Corner on there can be a little bit tricky. And they call it Canada Corner because it's not that far away from the Canadian border.
Oh, okay. It's the closest turn to Canada. That's why they call it Canada Corner. That's funny.
And it's a tricky one because you're coming down through. You just left the carousel. You start to pick up speed. There's a little dog leg there. If you hit it right, you're full song. And then there's a bit of a straightaway where you can get all the way up to top gear. Then there's just about a 90-degree turn.
Right. That's kind of near the end of the lap, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And you hit that, and then you get a corner, almost a straightaway in a corner. You know, that's like two corners kind of hooked together as one. And then you come out of that left, and then right again, and then it's just up the hill to the start finish line. Yeah,
it's a cool track. I remember playing that. I mean, it's been around a while. It's been known as Elkhart Lake, which is probably where it is.
It is.
Now it's called Road America, but like I knew it. I'm like, why does this track look familiar? Because in an older racing game, I'd played it, and it just had a different name. So it's got that one big right-hand sweeper that kind of
This
you can't go. Is that the carousel? You can't go full throttle. You can't. No. It's good. You got to kind of hit that speed, and then once you get it loaded, it'll take you through. But you can fly through there if you, like you said, if you hit your marks, you can really get her going through that thing.
Kind of come off the corner, and then you kind of go up to the left side of it, and then you get into the corner, and then you lift a little, and there's a little rumble strip, and you don't want to be down near the grass before you hit that rumble strip. But when you get around that point, you want to just hit that rumble strip with your left side tires, and then you really want to be right on the gas right at that point. You do it right, you carry great speed down through. And like I said, there's a little kink. You can, depending on the setup, you could just boil right through there full song.
Yeah, sometimes you can hit it so good.
Yep. And then you drop a wheel just wrong. There's a nice little wall right out there to meet you to slow you right there.
Yeah, exactly. Sand traps, all kinds of cool stuff. Yep.
I see an IndyCar crash there pretty hard quite a few years ago. So.
Oh, really, eh? Yeesh. Just doing a fly around here of the track. This is race number 11 in the Maverick Cup Series. So the points that were on your screen.
We'll get into it later and show some pictures of it, but we do have some new drivers tonight.
Remember, one switch
we also have.
Turning your stuff on.
They're lining. I don't know if they're lined up to race.
Okay, we're early. We usually don't go green until closer to 9 o'clock. One second here. Yeah, anyway, let's put some points up on screen now. Merkel, Mercurio, LaPlante, Bishop, Dorsey, PV McCurry, Norman, Pachon, and Gutierrez are your top 10 drivers coming into tonight's race. Yeah, we might be going green because they've got, let me see here. Yeah, they did the full qualify.
There's 24 drivers from U.S., 9 from Brazil, 2 from Argentina, 1 from Australia, 1 from Colombia, 1 from Honduras, and 1 from Peru. Looks like Jack Merkel took the pole, but he's up to his old tricks again. He took the pole, but he's going to go to the back of the pack. He really just has this thing about he wants to win from the back. So he's been constantly just going to the back every week.
Let me know when I fall out. My game just crashed on me.
Will do.
Yeah, we'll get to our Grand Marshal here in a second. As always, every week we have a new Grand Marshal. Last minute entry, too. We were almost going to use Rod Weston.
Well, he asked me to do it. So
yeah. We've actually, because you did that, we've actually got a few on deck to...
Okay,
what am I trying to say? As backups, just in case.
Yeah.
But let's play that right now before we go green.
Drivers, start your engines.
There it is. Thank you to Mr. Lindsey, Jabbar Lindsey, the winner of Survivor Pennsylvania Season 4.
Survivor Pennsylvania.
Yeah, they do. I think it's YouTube stuff. They do it on YouTube.
That's cool.
But they win money. So congratulations to him for winning that.
Pace car
get out of there pretty quick.
Pace car is out of the way. Jonathan Peavy is going to be our front guy. He didn't get the pole, but he's going to be the guy that started in third. But the whole line moves up when that happens. We got Zach Rogers in there tonight subbing. He told me he was subbing forward. He went through them so fast I couldn't quite catch everybody. We know Zach's very, very fast, so keep your eyes on him tonight a little bit. He'll probably be running up front most of the night.
Great thing about Pocono too, very wide track. Front straightaway is massive.
Although, in practice, I have an eye on a lot of the cars out there, and everybody seemed to kind of struggle into turn 3, which, you know, they should be used
right
to.
there.
Ooh, there you got just one out of turn 2. The
Yeah.
81 Santa Gutierrez. I know I'm going to get it right.
Yeah.
Kind of got a little bit loose over the tunnel turn there and just kind of lost control of it. That's not hard to do there at all, really.
I just
So
have to
they
quit for
always
a
say
second
about-
and reboot my tickers here, so bear with me.
They always say here that you know, that you don't want to do the tunnel turn side by side. I think it's gotten to the point now where they're getting a little bit more used to it. But back in the day when that tunnel was really had a real pronounced kind of bump, there was a place that an area you really wanted to be, and if you tried to go in there side by side, it just didn't seem to always work out.
Does I guess every track has to have a tunnel, or do they actually bring the rigs across the track surface at some of them, I guess, too, eh?
So Bristol and Martinsville are the two that I know of that do not have tunnels.
Yeah, they're way too. So I've seen them with it. How they cram all that stuff in there, man. Holy moly!
They basically, I believe it's turn
Okay, buddy, fired up
1.
here.
There's a
Remember,
gate
one
that
switch
they
at a
open
time,
up.
turning your stuff on.
It's a different gate because the 2 gates that they used to use down there have been taken out by a couple of different drivers. Michael Maltrip being one of them. If you ever seen that crash, that is
I think I know what you're talking about. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, come off the corner and just kind of got a little out of shape, hit that gate, and that gate just folded up like an accordion, and he nose first right into the button of that concrete wall, and that car just disintegrated.
Yeah.
He went over to check him out, grabbed the top of the roof of the car, figuring that they were going to pick up the roof of the car and find, there Michael passed away, and there he sat looking up at him. What's up?
Yikes. Yeah, I remember seeing
Crazy.
that.
And then the other one was Mike Harmon. He lost control of the car, and Johnny Sauter was coming around the corner. And I'll tell you, you've been in it. If you've shown the cockpit view of these cars, go next time we're at Bristol. You have to do a cockpit view of it, and you just can't see going through the corner when you're looking up. Mm-hmm. And he come off that corner, and there was Mike Harmon, and he hit him, and it just ripped that car in pieces. And he was still sitting in the seat. He unbelted his stuff, and the whole right side of the car was gone.
Wow. It's amazing how well the cars are built too.
Yeah, that was back then. Now they're extremely a lot more safer.
Yeah.
There's foam in the cars. There's the safer barriers. They've got the 2 Newman bars. The old petty bar. There's bars that are added in there from incidences that have happened. The original Newman bar was when Ryan Newman got flipped over. I believe it was at Talladega, landed on top of Kurt Busch, and then that kind of flipped the car, and it bounced around a couple of times, landing upside down. And Newman's a big guy, and so it crushed the car down to the point where he couldn't get out of the car. So they had to get it flipped over and just cut enough of the bars out. He was okay, he just couldn't get out. They incorporated what they called the Newman bar, which was a bar that went up and supported the center part of the roll cage a little better to keep it from crushing down.
And he was part of that, designing that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's an engineer. And then the second time that he got a bar in there for him was that spectacular crash at the Daytona 500.
Saved his life.
Where he was pretty much taking over the lead and getting a push, and the push just went wrong. It was nothing malicious. It was just a push that went wrong. And that thing, he was so lucky to survive that one.
Yeah.
Lights are back out on the pace car with Jonathan TV back out front. Zach Rogers outside him. Adam Cole. And then R.J. Bishop back there in his... I don't know what the sponsorship going. Oh, that's right, too. He's one of those Gordon fans, so he's always got kind of a Gordon fan kind of thing going.
Apologize to the viewers for the last couple of minutes. I'm just trying to fix the ticker. When it crashes in the middle of a race like that, I've got 2 different backups. So I just went with typing in the number 60. We are running 60 laps here tonight.
So basically they just had to listen to our voice and watching. That's not.
Yeah, and Rod covered me gloriously too. I was busy hacking away at that. I'm like, I got the other one does work, but it takes a couple laps to actually get going. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'm just going to go with Old Faithful. Type in a 6 and a 0 and let it sit. "32 cars on the grid to start this race. We beat last year's record by 1. Last year, Ben told us, because he is a sponge for information. 31 cars started here last year. It's 32 on track right now. 36 people in the server, which means that's me, you, and a couple of off-track administrators running the the cautions. They can tighten all that stuff up and do their administrating, watch the replays, and hand out black flags and all kinds of neat stuff.
Or clear them.
And clear them, yep.
Okay.
Lap 5 is about to begin as the pace car gets out of the way.
See if we can get some good long green flag runs in there. We know these guys can do it.
Looks like the 84 will get credit for leading that one.
Stand out on the front stretch there. That's why I say that. The thing about it is now they come down here into turn 1. Now turn 1 still you can do about, there's rim enough to do 4Y. I just don't think there's grip enough to do 4Y.
Right. Is Rogers driving for someone this evening?
Yeah, he like I said, I apologize. He did tell me, but I was trying to find a pencil. He was running it through it real quick, and I don't remember exactly who he was covering for tonight. But as we say that, turn tier 2, he just drove underneath Jonathan Peavy and took over the lead.
Yeah, we haven't seen Zach since he absolutely dominated at Sonoma. Basically led that entire race.
He came back the next week and won again.
Yellow is up. So we will find out.
There's a little something going on, a little smoke, but that could just be people spiking up the brakes there in the back on turn 3. But
yeah, I see smoke. I don't. Oh, the 21 of Randy was around, so we'll back that up and see what happened to Randy.
As I said before, that turn 3, I just see quite a few people. While I was just going through making sure I had the cars, I was checking that out over there, and quite a few people were struggling with that corner, basically an entry. So now, we saw people struggle a little bit last week at Milwaukee Mile, not Miracle Mile. And that is basically what that corner is modeled after. So if you struggled there, you're going to struggle here in turn 3.
Yeah, Gravoy got in there. I think I saw, who's that? 31 of Yankee is around. Matthias Yankee. Yelesi Sandoval got tangled up in that too. Now, Randy, it looked like Randy went around all by himself. We'll get a helicopter view of this so we can actually see if there was contact. From this angle, it looked close. So, helicopter will show us. I think he just got into the turn. Oh, no, he got some help. Ulysses Sandoval got into the back of the 21.
The problem with turn 3 like that, though, is once somebody gets sideways, that corner's probably there's more room in it than 2, but there's not as much room as like they have down the front stretch. So when something happens like that, someone behind them, they go to spike the brakes or and let off the gas. And as we talked about the Milwaukee Mile last week, you gotta kind of have that. You gotta kind of do that trail braking thing. So if you're not doing that, you step off the gas real quick. The back end will have a tendency to come around on you, and that makes it hard for some of the guys to make that corner.
Something happened to Pashon back here and Noah.
See Alex Mose I'm just kind of poking around and see Alex Mose
right up behind him there. Did you want? Oh, can you grab Ben and bring him up here? We can find out who Zach is.
Can try that.
Yeah.
Benjamin Snyder, Rod Weston, and Blaine up in the booth. We have a question for you.
Yes, I can hear you guys.
Yeah, we were asking who was it that Zach Roberts was subbing for tonight?
Can you repeat that?
Who is Zach Roberts subbing for tonight?
Zach Rogers is subbing for Cody Lamas.
Cody Lamas, that's what it was. I had to get it all written down, but you went pretty quick at it, so.
I think he asked you to say it again because you said his name wrong twice.
Did I?
Yep.
I said Rogers? I said Roberts, didn't I?
No, you said Rogers. You said Roberts.
Oh, gosh, I tell you.
It's Rogers.
I know.
I just got my spotter speaking to me so loud.
It's all good, bud. Well, thanks for the help. Good luck.
Thanks, Ben.
Can't believe we keep doing that.
Yeah. Well, you're doing it this time, but I was all over it last time.
Some of the cool paint schemes out there tonight, something that's a little new. Michael Norman, usually driving the 22, which he still is driving tonight, has actually got a tribute paint scheme on there tonight. He is running the Cletus McFarlane Kinetics car tonight, but it is not a Ford, it's a Toyota, and it's the 22, but he's got Cletus's paint scheme on there, which looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Well, we're under yellow here. We can actually get this camera set up and take a look at some of these cars here. Well, there's Michael Norman. Behind him, Joseph Landy Pavlon in the 68. There's Carnby Edward in the 27. There's Matt Scully in the 14. Danica Matthew in the 98. There's a new driver, the 009 Carlos Andrus.
Lightning McQueen.
Yeah, buddy. Matt McIntyre in the 738. In the 062, Jonathan Ward. 35 car of Mike Carroll. The 85 car of Josh 2. Josh's eggs.co. The 92 of Austin LaPlante. Josh Mercurio in the 86 right beside him. Trey Kinsey in the 18. The 43 Allison Rodrigo. Carlos Mendez in the 34. He dominated last week and ended up actually, what heartbreak that was, because that was an amazing run that he had. How many laps did he end up leading last week? He led
38, was it, or something like that?
He led a
I can find that out real quick.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I don't have it on the stat card that I have for him. 32nd overall, 506 points, 4 starts with 3 top 10s. He an amazing job last week.
He led 38 laps, and a gearbox issue took him out.
That's what it was, yeah. We think that he missed a gear. Either way, an engine failure took him out of that race. Gravois, what's Jarrett Gravois? I want to say Gravois. I want to say Gravois because it's a French thing, but I think Benjamin corrected us, and it's Gravois.
Most of the drivers will correct this.
Yep. Yeah, please don't hesitate to correct us, because we need to know stuff. Mm-hmm. Jack Merkel in the 24. The 81 of Santi Gutierrez is there as well. 7-Eleven Hubba Bubba ride. John Godfrey. Jorge Pachon pulling off to the side there. I apologize if you're epileptic. That might give you a seizure. Him driving on the... that messed me up.
Yeah.
He was driving on the checkers there, and I was like, oh my goodness. Please stop.
This is a message. Click on the like button.
Yes, exactly. Lucas
if you don't
Garcia.
like it, click twice on the dislike.
Yeah, it's like a hypnotism. Yeah.
Figured I'd take a shot at it. Maybe we get more people to click that like button,
That's it. Lucas Garcia in the 502. Benjamin Snyder, owner of Maverick, in the 7. One of the only purple cars, which is cool. You can always find them. Noah Wetzel right beside him wants to be on TV, so there you go. There's Noah on the 49.
two of the Kias out there. There's only 2 Kia cars out there, him and his dad.
Nice. Ulysses Sandoval, the 96. Christian Torres is here again, always in a cool-looking car, the Monster Energy.
I was making that trip down pit road. Jonathan Peavy out front side. Inside, sorry. Okay, so, yeah, he's on the outside. Zach Rogers is in the inside.
Yeah.
I was noticing earlier the amount of Toyotas. So Benjamin always sends me all the information about how many, makes and models and whatnot, where the guys are from. There's actually 16 Toyotas out there, 10 Chevrolets, 4 Dodges, 3 Lexuses, 2 Kias. We know who those guys are. 1 Cadillac, that's Josh Curio. 1 Ford, and I think that's Nate Wetzel. And 1 Pontiac, and that was Matt McIntyre.
There's only 1 Ford by no
Wetzel?
Ford. Really?
Imagine if you looked. Oh, Matt. What a save. Wow. Matt Snyder got loose in the middle of 3. Down into the grass just a little bit, and he saved it. We still ended up getting a caution. I'm not sure what for. I think maybe he almost saved it.
Who is that? Sorry?
Matt Snyder. Mark Snyder.
Oh, Mark Snyder. What number is he again?
27.
Yeah.
He's not running his typical his usual yellow car tonight. Got a blue and red one.
Ben is number 7.
Mark's 27.
No, he's not. That's Carnby Edward.
Oh, okay. So that's what. All right.
I don't see him in here, actually.
It must be Carnby is subbing for him.
Yeah,
Carnby is our master sub.
Papa Snyder is not in the race.
Yeah. Okay. So that was Kirby Edwards. Sorry about that. I didn't even get a chance to look at the name. I just saw the number, and just as we get used to the numbers and the names that go with them, they change us.
So you're saying there was a big save, eh? We're going to rewind that.
Went sideways all the way through 3 there. Then he went he didn't quite get it straight, but he got down into the grass a little bit. And it was still drifting it through the grass, but as I thought maybe he was going to drive out of it, and then he ended up not driving out through that.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he did save it. But yeah, then when he got back on the tarmac, he went around.
Lap 11, it looks like we're going to have our first leaders. Pretty much the whole field are coming down pit road. I'm sure that we'll get a few of the guys. Yeah, looks like Austin LaPlante's going to be the first guy that does not go down pit road. Eventually, he won't get to lead this lap, but I'm sure he will get to lead the next lap. Didn't quite get to the line before the guys going down pit road did.
Now, this is an interesting spot for the race off, because there's a yellow line with a cone, probably about 8 car lengths out in front of the actual. So the race off is there. Zach Rogers will win that. Or Ian Thompson, or whatever you want to call him. Zach Rogers in the 84.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Fitzpatrick is your leader. Well, not right. Oh, no, you said who stayed out, actually? We're gonna be
Austin LaPlante.
I'm just making up new names for Zach Rogers because we just, for some reason, can't. Oops, wrong number 90. Austin LaPlante.
Austin LaPlante is the current first car out there that's leading. Now, like I said, he got basically he decided the last minute that he was going to try to see if he could lead a lap. He couldn't make it out there in time enough to to the line before the leaders that were already on pit road did. So he was currently shown in the 4th position on our ticker.
Because most ovals, the stripe is in the middle of the pit lane, right? So it's like a race on both sides of that wall.
And the other thing, too, is like your pit stall is in front of that. there's a chance that you could get out there and you could lead a lap. But if the pit stall is behind it, once you go on the pit road, you're not even actually going to lead a lap at all because you're never going to get to that line until afterwards. It looks like Austin's going to actually stay out this lap so he can lead a lap.
Looks like Christian changed his mind at the last second.
And then we'll see if he's going to stay out there or whether or not he is going to come in and take tires. Let's see, he has not made a pit stop as of yet. Yes, he has made a pit stop. Sorry, that I just refreshed. So he may stay out just using that position, using the earlier pit stop that he made. Got the 4 tires earlier. Might as well just stay out there maybe and see if you can't maybe walk away with this thing a little bit.
Yeah, and if you're going to make a gamble like this to get the bonus points earlier, the better, because, you got the whole race to kind of work your way back into it. So, I mean, even if we get a couple of great big green flag rounds, I love this camera angle, by the way. This is not me doing this. This is TV2 placed right behind the lights on the back straight.
Actually, I'm actually watching the Spectator tonight because
Spectator's great.
It gives you a great view of the cars.
Yeah, this is Spectator cam right now, so it's almost like we've gotten spoiled with the camera pack on this version of Pocono. We actually have 3 TV cameras, really, yeah. A lot of time the Spectator camera, it feels like you're sitting on the moon. But this one is like a third, it's almost like TV3. If they were going to give you 3 TV cameras, the Spectator's doing a fantastic job, and it's not trapped behind any lights.
They're out on the pace car. We got Austin the Plant, like we said, out front. Last week's winner, Josh Mercurio. Outside of him, new guy to not really new to the Maverick series. He's just new here tonight. Josh too. Josh's Eggs, one of the guys that runs the SMO.
Yep.
And outside of him, Allison
Rodrigo.
I was gonna say I thought I was gonna be able to say that right. I didn't want to step on it.
He hasn't missed too many races.
Garrett Travels, Noah Wenzel. And then Benjamin Schneider is our top 8 as we get ready to go green. Austin got a really good run off that. For a minute, he wasn't going to. Looks like the Josh Mercurio is getting a little bit more help from behind. Austin is able to hold off so far that bottom group. Not a little bit. He got down there on that apron just a little bit, upset the car. It might hurt him a little bit off the exit.
Mercurio and LaPlante right beside each other. Looks like Mercurio on that high side is actually working.
Oh, remember, the track's pretty big, so aerodynamics is going to help. So he got a really, really good push from the Allison Rodrigo. Is that right?
See, with Allison Rodrigo in that 43, he is that car not used to be green?
I think it's changed a few different colors.
Yeah, I think that's a new paint job.
It's a few guys here. They got a few different paint schemes, so sometimes it's hard to keep up with them. Good old Josh Mercurio, he's always out there in that blue and pink caddy.
Yep.
Only Cadillac in the field.
And he's got that color scheme, and he applies it to every series I've ever seen him run. You always know it's Mercurio when he's got that combo.
Something I'm going to check on just while I'm thinking about it. Our points leader currently is Jack Merkel. Josh Mercurio is right there behind him.
Yep.
Take a little
in the
gander
top
back
10
and
too.
Oh, Plant's been doing very, very good over here. Not winning, but he's consistently finishing just about every week in the top 5, top 10, and which is helping him out tremendously in the points.
Now we've got a lot of space between these guys. Everybody's finding their groove. 32 cars started. Randy Waugh has retired. Just within the last lap, actually. I don't know if something happened. It just says retired. It doesn't. It hasn't elaborated on to why. Is he still in the server? On the TeamSpeak server? I don't see him.
Looking. He disconnected.
Yeah, I was gonna
look down at the bottom message and it said that he disconnected.
Yeah, maybe something going on. I'm at home. He had to leave. I don't know. Shot of John Godfrey back there in 23rd.
Just an update on Jack Merkel. Not that we're all big Jack Merkel fans, but the way he does things, he likes to start in the back to see if he can go to the front. Currently running in the 11th position. He has not led a lap tonight, I don't think.
Jericho Boy in the 23. Serving a black flag. I don't know if he got it for speeding. He was on pit road, and then it popped up on my screen there. So he's going to have to go back around and pit, I think. Probably just a pass-through. Speeding penalty would be a pass-through, right? It wouldn't be a stop and go on that. That's pretty harsh.
Austin the Plant is not let Josh Mercurio get away from him. He's just about 2 car lengths behind him right now, but just about a lap ago, he was right up there just trying to shake him up a little bit, see if we can get him to get it by him, but I didn't quite do it. I think that might have turned the wick up a little bit, Josh did, but Austin's not giving up. He's on it. He's doing real well up there.
Did you get a chance to turn any laps out here this evening?
Did not. I haven't hooked my wheel up in, gosh, I don't know how long.
Oh, okay.
As I told you, I was going to blow this computer away and redo it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even been on it since last Tuesday. So.
Yep, 23 just drove through the pits at 55. Served his penalty, and it has been cleared. We'll get back up front there to the leaders. Mercurio, LaPlante right behind him.
RB Edges is just about getting ready to go a lap down. Josh Mercurio's kind of caught up to him there on the short shoot.
Carnby just holds his line, lets him go around.
It's such a big track, so the laps take a while to get around here. Josh Mercurio's only led 5 laps so far this evening. The most so far, though.
Merkel has made his way up to 10th.
Keep an eye on that Merkel guy.
What was Jack Merkel's qualifying position?
He was on the pole, but he did not take the pole.
Right. He did this. Oh, I remember you saying he did the same thing last week.
Yep.
Yep.
Still, he said he's going to do it all season long.
Yeah, he'll get the pit position so he gets the good box, but then he'll drop to the back.
He started just not qualifying at all, and still made it up through there and did well and did a very good job with it. But he decided that it was got to do something a little different, and so he's starting to qualify to get, like as you said, the better pit stall, and he basically asks for an in the longest line penalty. So that's how you can go, if you're up front, and go to the back without getting anybody else in trouble. The admin can give a command to give him an end of the longest line penalty, so he'll go to the back.
Right. Oh, okay, cool.
New second place car, Santi Gutierrez. I hope I said that right. Gutierrez got past Austin LaPlante. Worked his way up into that second position. And this Yankee just went a lap down.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Matthias was actually on. I think he had to make a couple of pit stops for some reason. He's got an extra couple of pit stops on his tally.
Mike Carroll out there in the Dodge Dart.
Now, if I remember correctly, the 81 of Santi Gutierrez is in the top 10 in points. I believe he's 10th. Yes, he is. 539 points off of Jack Merkel for the lead in the top 10 right now.
See Benjamin Snyder pulled down pit road into his pit stall.
Robbie Gilvin in that monster Java car, one of my favorite monsters. I like the coffee ones. And that 78 Haven't heard that name here before, so welcome, Mr. Gilvin. Right up in the thick of it right now, running 6th position underneath Allison Rodrigo being pushed by Adam Cole, baby. I love watching these cars just like torque coming off these corners too. You can tell when they get back in the throttle because that left front just kind of kicks up into the air, you know.
Zach Rogers has worked his way up into the 3rd position after the pit stops there. Keep an eye on him. He'll be coming to the front as this race progresses on.
It's fun to see a new name like Gilvin, and then all of a sudden, you know, he's up in 4th position. Like, where'd this guy come from? Because I downloaded the cars before the race started, and I was like, oh, that's a new one. And then sure enough, there it is. Jonathan Peavy creeping up on Allison Rodrigo there in the 43. This is the 43 is currently in 6th.
Guilty now, isn't that? It's usually RJ Bishop's car.
The 78? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So he must be subbing for him.
Right.
I hollered it out as RJ Bishop because I'm so used to that.
Yep.
Having a great run for him.
Yeah, he will retain points himself, but then team points will be calculated for Bishop.
Zach Rogers has taken over the 2nd place. Starting to put the target onto the back of Josh Mercurio. As they're working their way through some of the lap traffic.
Yep.
Lightning McQueen, he's not drifting it right. Lightning McQueen there takes the car down a pit road.
They were just passing there, the lap car there. Jonathan Ward, the 062. Rogers wastes no time getting to the bumper of Mercurio. Now he just got to figure out how to get around him.
Entry.
Because Josh won't let him have it.
Josh was really, really good, you know, last week's winner at the Milwaukee Mile. So turn 3, if you can get through, that's the one that you usually get people on. Because most people struggle on the flat tracks. And this is different. If you're running Milwaukee Mile, you got flat track on both ends. It's pretty much the same. This one here, you go to Trenton, then you go to Indy. He drove it right in there.
Yep.
Zach Roberts did. And I see if he's got it out to run off. He's doing pretty good. Although the cars are lined up on the outside, that may not help him much, but
the outside seems to be a little bit stronger, but eventually the lower line prevails, I notice.
Yeah. I don't know what the grip, you know, levels are, you know, high, low on this track, but it just seems as though the biggest thing that made it harder for Zach on that long straightaway was the rest of the cars were all on the high side. So, you know, they kind of had a little bit of a draft kind of thing going on as Josh Mercurio tries to drop down below through the tunnel turn to see if he can get his nose up in there and try to make that pass back in turn 3.
Yeah, Zach got him, but then they got a little bit of lap traffic there with the 009 of Carlos Andres.
Zach got a really good run on that high side.
Yeah, Carlos Andres was actually coming out of the pits. Did the right thing, though. He moved out of the way, let those guys deal with it, but they had to adjust also, so it was good heads-up play by everybody involved on that one.
Next victim to go a lap down is going to be this is Sandoval.
Now that little black overlay I've got going here, watching that 24 just gained another position. He's closed the gap of 5+ seconds from the leader to 2.5 seconds from the leader, Jack Merkel, in 9th. In about the last 3 or 4 laps, he shaved off 2 or 3 seconds, so he's coming.
Yeah, he'll be coming. I don't know if he'll have anything for Zach, but you know he's going to get up there, and he'll probably in the top 5 before the end of the night. And keeping it so that them guys that are trying to knock him down off that points lead aren't going to make it as easy.
Good long run here. The green flagging it, letting these guys get into the groove. And of course, pit stops are very important.
Be so nice to see some green flag pit stops, but what I saw in the garage, it said that they could do about 40 laps. Remember, I believe this is still 1X.
Okay.
So they're going to go a little bit longer. Most leagues, like on this track with the 2X pit frequency, do about 20 laps.
Okay.
What's neat about this track too is the ability to save fuel. Now, this setup, I haven't really been paying attention to that, but I'm going to start doing that now. See where people are shifting. This is one of the shifting tracks. Merkel, I just happened to catch up to Merkel to see what want to see how he's shifting. Just gets underneath Michael Norman there on exit of turn 3 and takes over the 6th spot. But what happens is a lot of people will shift. So they'll go down the front stretch in 4th gear, get into turn 1, downshift to third gear. Go down the back stretch, shift back up to 4th. Now, some of them will not shift into. Jack Merkel actually does. And then they'll run 3 third gear all the way down into turn 3. That's exactly what he's doing. They'll run that 3rd gear off the corner until they get up to the speed again, and then they'll be back into 4th gear.
So is there a way to calibrate your gearbox maybe to never have to shift here?
Depending on the setup.
Yeah.
So, like when I ran over to Hobo, and we talked about that a little earlier, in an open setup environment, I have a setup that I run here that I don't shift.
Right.
It's still competitive. And the great thing about not shifting is you get better fuel mileage. And the other thing about fuel mileage is getting to that is you can actually clutch going to turn 1. It's an art form, but you can save. So like with the 2X pit frequency, people could do maybe 19, 20 laps. I've actually done 23.
Wow.
Just by clutching.
Wow. On 2X.
Yep, yeah. And you could still do the same thing, on 1X. It's just kind of one of those, if you are going to do that, you got to, you got to commit to it. And once you commit to it, you're...
Yeah, and over the long haul, that's a lot of laps you're saving.
Yep.
Especially in a long race.
Then it depends, because, it depends on where the cautions fall. You can actually use that to your advantage. Jack Merkel now just pulls underneath Robin Gibbon and takes over the 3rd spot.
Yep, he's now closed the gap on the leader, less than 2 seconds.
Their 2nd place driver snuck in there while we were looking at other cars and stuff, Adam Cole.
Yep, I was focused on him for a little while.
I'm guessing. Oh, now we've got our leaders headed down pit road for their green flag pit stops. A bunch of people have pitted a few laps earlier, some of them a few laps later. This is about the halfway point of the race. According to what the guard says, they should be able to go the full distance from here on fuel. Just not sure about tires.
And that's a big thing too, is you can save a lot of tires here, or not.
You can burn off a set here just by overdriving and not being smart about it. But you also can just roll the corners. You can roll the corners, save fuel, and save tires here. Like I said, I'm not really 100% about this version of it, but I know, there's many different versions of this track, and you can do that. Original, not so much. The very original first one, not as easy to save tires on.
That's the thing about Pocono. Some people don't like it, but it is very cool, especially in a long race, like tonight, running 60 laps here. Like we were talking about the fuel mileage, saving the tires, green flag pit stops. The setup looks great. Everybody's having great luck with the setup. So it really is. There's a lot of factors that can get you to the end of this race. You know, you can drive the wheels off the thing and you've got garbage tires. You can maybe save the tires or maybe save a lot of gas, and a lot of factors here tonight.
Christian Torres is around. He was our leader. I think he's spun on the exit coming off the pit. His exit of the pits.
Yeah, he's on pit road now, Christian Torres. In the 86 of Mercurio.
Know if that brought out a caution or not. Doesn't look like they're slowing down. So it might have been just a single car spin. Let her ride.
Yep. There's the Joshes. Mercurio does take first. Josh 2 is 1 lap behind, as is Mike Carroll.
The same familiar guys up front, although Mercurio got out front and on a better, I guess he had a better pit stop. He may have pitted a little bit earlier, which got him out there quicker. Right now, currently, like you said, Josh 2's kind of stuck in between them. Raj is just going to turn down underneath him and turn number 3 and just, I believe he'll get by on this time by. Yes, he does.
Just focused here on the 72 of Jorge Pachon. Ninth overall this season. 9th overall in the points currently with 1,066 points. 8 starts, 5 top 10 finishes. His average finishing, I know, eh? His average finishing position is 10th. So that's, you know, show up every week, man. Be consistent. It's right there, 9th place.
So
and there's like 85 people have entered this league.
What is Austin LaPlante's average finish, seeing how you have that information?
You actually have it now because I'm in the race. I can't check it.
Ah.
It's in those PDFs I sent you.
I have the ability to go do stuff that he can't.
Yeah, because I'm watching the race. I could pull it up now because it's in under yellow, but then it might crash the game.
We do finally a great long green flag run, though.
If I had a second computer, that's what I gotta get. I gotta get like a laptop or something that I can have on the side. Yellow flag is up. We'll see how this happened.
And of course, I grabbed the wrong one.
I see smoke right there. Oh, it looks like Torres is slow moving on the back. Yeah, oh, yeah, okay. Ulysses Sandoval bottomed out, hit the wall. Torres got a hold of him. Torres went for a ride.
Just looking at that, looking at your thing, you were talking about Jorge Ponce's average finish is 10.38.
Yep.
Austin LaPlante's average finish is 15.00. Yet he's higher in points. Must have had one bad race, kind of.
Or yeah, or he didn't show up to one. Like how many starts too, right? You got to check the starts.
That's right.
Yeah. Every time he starts, he finishes really good, but if he missed a race, that won't count. Because it'll only do the average on the numbers that are there, right?
Right. I'm just going through that real quick. So actually, you're right. So Jorge has only done 8 starts, where Austin has done all 10.
Right. But Jorge's still in 9th place, you know, like still in the top 10 overall. And again, it's just consistency. When he shows up, he's able to be there. Looks like Mercurio in the 86 is going to win that race off pit road. Looks like
Back Rogers
the
gonna be
boys
right
can
behind
actually
him.
run over there. I'm going to move this camera over just a little bit. That way we can
Adam
get
Cole's
the
going to
whole
be third.
thing. Next time we'll be ready. Jonathan Ward there, 2 laps down, currently in 29th. Taco Bell.
Is it Matt Scully? Oh no, he is a lap
Scully, it
down.
is Matt, yeah.
But he is. It looks like he is a lap down. I'm trying to figure out who got in and out and whatever, but apparently he is shown 1 lap down, so he will probably be the lucky dog.
Thanks everybody on the YouTube channel for watching this tonight. Here on a Tuesday at Pocono, the Maverick Cup Series. Join us again on Sunday as we head to the finale at the Primetime Racing League Series. The
Hopefully
Sunday's
I can
Big
make it.
Race Spartans. Yeah,
Hopefully I
last
can make
week.
it. Could not get back home in time.
Yeah, last week was there was a lot of caution flags.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, the pace car led 59 of 88 laps.
Mr. Sire called me up and told me about it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I couldn't get back home in time from my real life racing. So,
What is happening here right now? Why is everybody passing the pace car? What happened?
those are cars
Are they
that
wave
are the
around?
end of the longest line, so they're
Wow.
wave around.
I was going to say, usually there's only a couple of wave arounds. That's a pile of wave arounds.
You think about it. If you're a lap down, we had a green flag pit stop there. Whatever, you're not that long on these tires.
Mhm.
And all the leaders go in, and you get that opportunity to make it up. You're making up 2.5 miles. That may another quick caution. You go in, you throw some new tires on there, and you're in a little bit better situation than you were.
Yeah, that was like about 13 or 14 cars on the wave around. I was thinking, did I miss something? Because usually there's about maybe 3 or 4 or 5. To have like almost 15 cars trapped between the leader and the pace car, that's
Wouldn't you want to be the admin trying to clear all those?
yeah, because that will
there-
generate a penalty.
There are programs out there. There's, I've told you about the guy that has that league that just incredible. Well, there was one of the guys that helped him do that. Has
One
a
button,
program.
clear black flags.
Yeah, he just basically hits a button and says, just starts hollering out numbers, and it clears them.
Oh, like voice activated.
Voice activated, yep.
Ah,
Hits a
so
button.
cool.
Just be like going 86, 84,
Yeah,
69,
25 needs a black
81,
flag cleared. He
24.
just goes 25 and then done.
Done.
Because there's one like that. I think it's called Crew Chief for iRacing. That's pretty cool like that. It recognizes your voice and you can tell it to change 4 tires and all that kind of stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
And we're back on the green. Josh
And that's a
Mercurio on the bottom.
separate app. It's not part of iRacing. It's a separate app behind. You can download and run behind it. But yeah, super cool.
Zach Rogers on the high side, just to see who gets through 1 and 2 a little better. That low groove seems to work a little better at the time.
It almost looks like they're skating a little bit sideways, eh?
Oh yeah, I've seen Zach Rogers have that thing so far sideways a couple of times, especially in turn 3. Filling him in there pretty good.
Mm-hmm. There's Merkel in the 5th position, right behind him. Robbie Gilman.
Apparently moved himself up into the 4th. He's always right there. But when it gets down to the end of these things, he's just usually right there. Because we're getting pretty close to 20 to go.
Mm-hmm.
Be nice to see if we could run this thing out green all the rest of the way.
Now with Rogers and Mercurio doing some racing, Cole was able to close that gap, but so is Merkel.
Gibbons back there, just waiting for them guys to make a mistake too. He's pretty quick. He's been running up front all night. Ooh, that was a nice. Jack Merkel just kind of stuck in there and get back into that line so he didn't lose that draft.
Right on board right now with Merkel. A lot of bumps on that straight, eh? Holy moly.
I unbelievable how many bumps are on this track. As far as, you know, you think it's a new pavement, new look kind of track, you wouldn't think it would be as bumpy. Think about it. Try to, you know, that much pavement, how much pavement you got to lay down and try to lay it down so there's no bumps.
Yeah. That's a lot of tarmac.
A lot of tarmac. That is a pretty cool look in the cockpit. Of course, that's the view of it. I'd be looking if I was out there racing. I'm always in the cockpit every time I race. With the exception of Talladega and Daytona, that's just something that I learned from Jeff Elliott. Got on the roof, and it definitely made me a better super speedway driver. Still going to be able to do doing it up here than being on the track with that, but you know.
It's a great camera view. He's right on Adam in the 69.
Rogers just pulled on the outside there down the front stretch to see if he could get a run on him, but didn't quite make it. Josh is really just hugging that inside so he can't get underneath him.
And he's right on him, eh?
Oh yeah, a little bump drafting going down the short straight. Trying to get him picked up a little more speed so when he gets in that corner maybe he'll get a little bit out of shape. But,
whoa.
I don't know if that was an intentional kind of pop out. He got a little help.
Well, they are.
They got him down there in the bottom groove.
Loose is fast.
So now you see who all your friends are here. Ooh, Adam Cole, what a move! Look at this now.
Yeah.
Jack Merkel's thinking about doing the same thing. Whoa, I thought that was going to get a little dangerous there for a minute. He drove through it really well. Kind of the thing I'd say is you find out who your friends are. You can see Jack Merkel's right behind Adam Cole. Gibbons behind him. They're just, you know, they're trying to work together to get by Zach Rogers instead of, you know, pushing Zach Rogers up to the front.
Nothing frazzles him though, man. He just locks onto that line and just sticks to it.
Just calm, cool, collective.
Yeah.
Smart racer.
Look at the gap. Wow. I'm rocking some crazy camera angles right now. Bump drafting down the front straightaway.
Now you see that they're working with him this time. They know getting the four of them together, they're gonna get up to Josh Mercurio, and they're just gonna kind of, then it'll see, you know, once they get up there, we still have about 25 laps, a little over 25 laps to go. So maybe it's time they got thinking, well, we run a little too hard. Let's just stay in line for a minute, save some fuel, save some tires, cool them down a little bit, make another charge at them.
Yeah. Do you think they'll have to pit again? I'm thinking they're going to have to, right?
Just from what I see in the garage,
it's got to be.
Garage says
there's a run off of 4, door to door right now. We did not get credit for that. They're nose to nose here. Like Josh did get credit for that line.
Seen the inside line prevail in 1 and 2 and in 3 and 4. He was able to make the pass. Now Adam Cole is out there kind of by himself. The short straight, you might be all right like that for a little bit. Once you get on that front stretch like that and they get lined up, you're not gonna. That's, you know, they're gonna pull away from you. Ooh!
What happened there?
What was that?
Was that a misshift? Maybe he held on to that. Something. What a move that was. Josh made a mistake, but he was able to hold it.
I don't know. Something locked her.
Would that be a downshift? Like, does he use manual?
Could have been
gearbox?
a downshift gone wrong. Yep.
Yeah.
Very well have been a downshift gone wrong.
Yep. If he's on manual gearbox, that's in a spot where you would be changing a gear, and he may have slipped off the clutch or something and really hard shifted that thing. where you'd almost like
I'm
light the
actually going to go
tires up.
find that out.
Yeah, so if you rewind that, you'll be able to see it. I'm thinking he might have slipped off the clutch earlier, or either early or late, and either locked the tires or spun the tires. I can't see him spinning the tires. He's doing like 160 mile an hour.
I am telling you, Buck. He must have a
Horseshoe?
I would say the H pattern shifter.
Mm-hmm.
He went into reverse.
Wow. And didn't blow it up.
Just a quick second. So he must have shift, missed, and got it in reverse. Quick back off that and went. That was spectacular.
Wow, man. He's lucky he didn't blow that motor up.
Mm-hmm.
Josh and he's still running in fifth. He only lost like 3 spots, not even 3 spots.
Yep.
Oh man, a quarter second
crazy.
of reverse, and he still has fifth spot. And this pack is pulling away because the next car has a 3.7 second gap on the leader. So you got your front 5, and then you got Trey Kinsey with Jonathan Peavy, Michael Norman, Allison Rodrigo, Joseph Landy Pavlon, Alex Moe back there in the 48. Sandy Gutierrez in 13th. Austin LaPlante's back there as well with Jorge Perchon.
And the thing back on that Josh Mercurio thing, he's second in points. You cannot afford to make mistakes like that. And unfortunately, Jack's 2 positions ahead of him, so he's not going to gain on him.
No.
You can't make mistakes like that. I mean, even though they hurt him a little bit, but he can finish 5th. And Jack stays maybe around that area. Jack may have a bad race, and then that bad race you'll be able to catch back up to him. So,
yeah, and you think about that too. Okay, he lost a couple spots. There's 32 cars that started on the grid tonight. That's a lot of points from 32 to first. So, Josh got really lucky not popping that motor.
Yeah, 7 laps to go. I don't know. Like I said, I just don't know tire-wise what they can do. These guys in the front, they're not. They haven't been turning their fastest laps. They're about a second beyond that. The tire fall off has got to be a bit. They're not. They can make it on tires is the next thing. And if that's the case, let's say hypothetically these 5 drivers in the top that are going still pretty hard, and they can't make it on tires. This is the first guy that's been saving.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting concept. Someone might be back there saving. Jack Murphy trying to take the 2nd spot away. Looks like that. He made that happen. Yep. Got himself up in the 2nd. Now the question, does he have anything for Zach Rogers?
He's going to be the one to beat, I think. Rogers in the 84.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just watching Adam Cole back there, it seems like he's just getting a little tight on exit. We got 10 laps to go. So if you're starting to get a little tight on exit, though, next question is can they go the last 10 laps on these tires?
Which begs the question, which I always bring it up, is like, would you rather pit early and have enough time to get back into it, or do you try to make it last because it's this late? If you go in expecting them to also go in, like your opponents, what if they don't? We're talking about that track position from 1st to 32nd. It's a lot of points.
See, like Santi Gutierrez just came out of pit road, and he was 13th. Currently in front of the leaders, you got Mantis, Yankee, and then Benjamin Snyder just about ready to go, I believe, another lap down.
Yep.
Pulls up high, gets out of the way of the leaders. We got a roadblock on the backstretch. Oh no, Adam Cole gets tangled up in it.
Oh man,
somehow, and Benjamin has nowhere to go and collects him into it too.
We were locked on to Zach, and he found his way through that. And Jack's through it.
Of course, they're racing back because it's under 10 to go.
Yeah.
Now the question, we're going to have probably 6 laps to go, I would say.
And they
Pretty
can
close to
accelerate
6 laps.
that too, yeah.
Who gets tires, who doesn't? Zach Rogers stay out, and everybody behind him come in and take 4 tires. And I mean, what happens here? This is going to get interesting. We'll know the tire story, because if Zach Rogers stays out, and he believes he can make it on tires, we know the rest of them can. If you can make it, and do you risk it? Do you risk going in, getting tires, and getting stuck back in traffic where potentially we get 6 laps to go? Maybe we do 2 laps, and then a caution falls. It might be the end of the race, and then that doesn't help you at all.
I was going to go through that replay of the cause of the caution, but I heard you talking about that. I flipped back to live mode here to watch the decision of the front row here, because this is a big decision.
Yeah.
You know, does he have that 5 or 6 laps on those tires? Can he run the rest of this race and maybe skip pitting?
You know, caution's going to help. You're not burning your tires up.
Mm-hmm.
But is the tires that big of an advantage to the point? Almost looks like Zach Rogers is headed down. Mac Merkel's headed down.
Is that a fake job,
Top
though?
5.
They got to the line to figure it out. Nope.
Top 5. No, everybody's coming in for tires.
Okay.
Question. Who doesn't? Who in the lead, out of the leaders, lead lap cars stays out?
And the race off as well is a big deal. So let's focus on that right now, too.
Think about it. Santi Gutierrez just came off pit road. Okay? He was still on the lead. Still on the lead lap.
That's close.
He was still on the lead lap. Okay? So he should. I'm trying to look to see who in front of him has not.
So the race off pit road, I can't even tell. It looks like it goes to Jack Merkel.
Okay,
just
so
barely.
Gutierrez is. I think Gutierrez is going to come out with a lead on this. He may not be able to keep it, but he hasn't run those tires in anger for very long. You know, he just came. I just saw him come off pit road. He's got, you know, the tires, the fuel, and he hold back, you know, Jack Merkel and Zach Rogers. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's who you're going to find out is going to be our leader. I'm just trying to look, see if there's anybody else that stayed out there still, because we've only got 18 cars on the lead lap. We're going to get a few more probably.
I was going to say, everybody else will go now. There they go. So behind the pace car is Noah Wetzel, but Noah Wetzel's a couple laps down, so you can see he's going around the pace car with Jarrett Gravois. I want to say Gravois. Gravois. And who else was that? That's Carnby.
Oh, there we go. Was it Jose Ponchon?
Oh, it's Jorge
Ponchon is going to be found. Like I told you, these guys that pitted under the green flag conditions, but not very many laps ago. Okay, he's going to get credited with the lap lead.
Santi Gutierrez, your front row.
These guys.
But Rogers and Merkel are behind them with fresh tires.
Right, and we're going to have 6 laps. So you think of it like this: say, and I'm not hoping for this. I want to see a green flag finish. We get a green flag with the caution falls. Now we got to still get to the start finish line.
Yep.
If they can beat them to the start finish line, that's one. You know, a few more laps under caution. They're going to be up there. Maybe like a green-white checkered kind of situation.
We might. Yeah, the next flag might end this race. So And then if they win the race back, the old tires don't matter because you're not even using them.
Yep. After that, you're all set.
Mm.
And, new guy, we call him new guy because they've been here for quite a while. Josh, too, back there in the 5th spot. Snuck in there somehow. So, right now, Jose Pajon, Santi Gutierrez, Jack Merkel, Zach Rogers, Josh 2.
Josh 2. Yeah. He was allowed down too. Guess somebody. Yeah, and I was just reading the YouTube chat. Budget Customs goes that 85 is hot, and there he is in 5th. So we've got a bunch of different pit strategies going on here.
Ready to go green.
See if Jorge and Santi Gutierrez, or Jorge Pochon and Santi Gutierrez, can hold these guys back. It's not going to be easy because they got
wide that man.
Yeah,
5-6 wide there. Jack Merkel tries to get down under Jorge got a little bit up high there. Jack Merkel's going to get down underneath him. That's not going to help him out too much. Tire difference is probably not a lot.
Man, I can't believe they looked like they were 6 or 7 wide back there, and they all kept it together.
Jack Merkel's going to take... Ooh!
Yep.
Ooh! Jack Merkel, a little bit loose through the tunnel turn.
A little bit.
Although Jorge's got him... Zach Rogers a little bit, slowed up a little bit, but he's getting... Zach Rogers got underneath it.
I wonder if Jorge's tires can hold on. He's got to hold on to them for another 5 laps almost here.
About 4 more laps.
Or 4 to go, yeah.
4 or 5 more laps. I still think it's going to be a net gain for them guys. Or he's just running, he's still running the top 3. May lose out to Mercurio. I still think it's going to be a gain for him. Him and Santi Gutierrez is just ooh! Jonathan Peavy around in the tunnel turn there. Might bring out the caution.
So far I'm not seeing anything on the wall. I'm doing far chase view on Jorge right now, and I don't see yellow. Green lights are still on.
Okay. We're really good at turn 3.
On board with Jorge Pochon in the 72.
Merkel still holding on to the lead. Zach Rogers second. Jose Pochon still in third. Josh Mercurio. Santi Gutierrez, and then Mike Norman back there, kind of hounding down Santi. Just a little bit. Then right behind him, who's that? Aston LaPlante. And it's been running, for, consistent pretty much all season. 3rd place in points.
You think Zach can get Jack? If anybody can get Jack, I think it can be Rogers.
If anybody can do it, yeah.
But man, these guys are really good. Like
that car is going to become very wide.
Yeah, even though this track's about 9 lanes wide, I don't know if you're going to find a way around them.
Multi-car pile up out of Exeter turn 2.
Okay.
See what the admins call on that.
Let's ride cockpit to see the lights on the wall. They're still green.
Hey, just come off turn 1 just a little too hard, hit the wall. Josh Mercurio was able to drive underneath him.
On
still
board
green.
With Zach Rogers right now in the 84, still green.
This is where Zach's been pretty strong all night. Jack Merkel just kind of stays right in his line. Ooh, Josh Mercurio around in turn 3. That's going to hurt his points battle.
Green still up. They're letting them go, boys. The refs have put the whistles away and they're letting them play.
Put Santiago Gutierrez back into 3rd.
Yeah.
Michael Norman over the back bumper of him. Yep. Austin LaPlante just a little bit behind them guys. Zach Rogers tucking right.
And look who it is at the end of the race in 6th position. Alex Moe in the 48. He's been running in the back of the pack the entire race. And you forget that
Like
he's here
Mo,
sometimes, but he'll
you never
always
know
be...
he's racing.
Yeah.
You never know he's there racing until the checkered flag falls and he wins. Where did he come from?
Yeah, we checked on him a while back, and you know he's just been chilling in the back.
Just
and here
he
is
was here,
yeah,
hey. And he's here.
Yeah.
Talk much about him because he hasn't really. Last lap.
Guess
Jack
he's in the
Merkel's
top
still
10.
up front. Zach Rogers is all over the back bumper. Is it time for Jack Merkel to get that monkey off his back and get that win from the back?
Yes.
And if he does, is he going to continue to do it? Or is it, I've done it now, I can start qualifying and start running up, start from the front each week? What he's got to do is keep Zach right behind him on this corner.
Wow.
Drives it right in there. Wow, right to the rear bumper. Good, respectable driving by
Yes.
Zach. Zach could have just punted him out of the way. He was there. Yeah. And our winner, Jack Merkel. Look at that.
What
Finally,
a run.
he gets that win from the back done. Zach Rogers gives him a little congratulational bump.
Yep.
And guess what? While we were all paying attention up there, Michael Norman snuck in and took third away from Santiago Gutierrez.
Wow. Yeah, they're saying, where do you look, right?
Yeah.
You got Merkel and Rogers going after each other. That was a battle. He got right to that bumper. You talk about trail breaking.
Austin LaPlante, fifth place, another great run for him. He's keeping him right there in the points all season. So let's say we go see if we can find that Michael Norman guy. I don't know where he's hiding. I ran out of room in my TeamSpeak. I had to go find him down there. Oh, man. Cletus, our third place finisher for the night, Michael Norman. Love the paint scheme. You really kind of ran mid-pack most of the night, whatnot. You've been up there a little bit off and on. Late caution kind of helped you out, I think, a little bit. And come out third tonight.
Hell yeah, brother. No, but seriously though, that was absolutely amazing. The 81, me and him raced very hard those last couple of laps, and he slipped just a little bit into turn one, and my car was able to stick. I mean, I can't even believe it myself, honestly. That was super fun, and I really, this is just like the finish at Kansas, except the top two roles are reversed.
You got to do it wrong, because first you got to say it's the sleeveless shirt that did it, and I was running like a spotted bald eagle, and I can't remember all the stuff.
Oh yeah, I was ripping around this racetrack like a bald eagle.
Yeah.
Turn, and the real turn 3, because there's only 3 turns at this point.
Yes, correct.
That was my Achilles heel all night. I was losing spots there, taking it too easy, because I'm very happy to finish where I finished, man. I sent it this last restart, turn 3, a little bit more than I should have, because I knew with the tires I had, there was no point in stopping. But I'm just really thankful that I didn't actually get into the side of the 81 going into the tunnel turn there, because I was afraid that was going to happen. And then I saw him brake first. I'm like, oh, well, I just got to send it and I'll be good. So I sent it, and Cletus McFarland, I stole your paint scheme for this race. I wanted to run a little tribute to you. You'll definitely see this scheme on the racetrack again. Third place is fun. And yeah, Pocono, what can I say?
You didn't even lead a lap tonight. Like I said, you didn't really. I'm not saying you didn't run good, because you did. You just didn't run up front till the end of it. There, it just more kind of trying to avoid the chaos at the beginning. They had a great green flag run. I thought maybe it would go green all the way. You made the right strategy calls, and by gosh, ended up third. That was super. I mean, I'm glad to see you up here doing that. I like the Cletus paint scheme. That was pretty cool. It was brought up to my attention. I was like, I got to check that out. That looks wild.
Yeah, I mean, you could say I 100% was racing absolutely terrible this race. It really was. I messed up my qualifying, started 13th, and then, which I think then moved up to 11th once the 24 got his EOL on the start. And then it was off to the races from there. It was more of just trying not to run into anybody. But I was running running in the top 10 for most of it until, we got that long green flag run, and I was just trying not to wear my stuff out. But, it was fun. I'm very happy to have finished where I finished. I definitely probably did not have a top 3 car as the server shut down. I was in the middle of watching that replay. That was great. But yeah, it was fun. I'm very thankful for finishing where I finished, especially in a car that, a car that definitely probably wasn't a top 5 car all day.
Great. Blaine, you got anything for Michael?
No, man. As always, it's an awesome race, and like Rod was saying, he's not saying you didn't run well. I mean, you're in third, so whatever you did all the right stuff, especially to finish third behind those two guys in Rogers and Merkel. And plug your stuff. Are you still running full time with Seth? What's going on over there with the broadcasting?
Yep, full time with Seth. RTG Tally challenged me. Seth and Kyle Matthews. We're every Thursday night. Seth has broadcasts actually on almost every day of the week except for a couple. But the only time I do it with them is on Thursdays. But yeah, man, it's fun. I love watching back your guys' broadcast and everything after the race. And from one broadcaster to another, I know that how fun it can be up here covering pretty much everything. So you guys do a pretty good job. So I appreciate it. And, Jack and Zach, both of them, I could call them my mentors because I like running behind them and learning from them as they go. Cause I'm still a novice racer, even though I have like 30 plus wins under my belt, but it's a good job for them. And congratulations to Jack for finally beating Zach Rogers. Next week, I believe, is Road America, where Zach is. I think he said he's going to start at the rear of the field if he's over a second faster than everybody, which more than likely he will be. So that'll be fun to watch everybody up there. But I know I'm pretty good at Road America too, so this should be a very fun battle. Nice.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Now we got to do like a whole. What do they do that like at the ticker tape at the boxing matches and stuff? Sounds like it's going to be a brawl.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for joining us, and congratulations on the 3rd place. That was a great run.
Thank you so much, guys.
So, that was our 3rd place finisher, Michael Cletus Norman. I like that. Congratulations, guy, and we'll hopefully see you back up there in the victory lane or in the top 3 next week. 2nd place finisher, Zach Rogers. I didn't quite catch how many laps you led yet. I can pull that up in a minute, but ran up front.
Don't really matter.
No, I know, but ran up front.
20,
you were running
23.
You were playing a sub tonight. Had a great race. Got basically beat off the pit road on that last pit stop, and just Jack was not giving you the place to go. You had to go and earn it. I thought for a minute that you got into turn 3 really, really good on that last lap. I thought, oh boy, it's going to get interesting, but you, as always, respectable driver, and just he, didn't take him out, and he was able to win. So, but tell us a little about your night.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping to get the first pit stall, because if you got the first pit stall, you could just mash it in first gear and not worry about getting too high over 55. So when we had that last pit stop, I had to blip it a little bit, and it was close, but Jack got me, and maybe might have had a better shot at going side by side off through turn 1 if we didn't have those two guys stay up. But that's the name of the game, and staying out worked out great there for Santi. I mean, he got a P4, so yeah, it was a good night. Had a few scares there with the 23. I gave him a bump down the Long Pond straight, and it got him a little wiggly, but it was, in my opinion, it was early enough before the braking zone. But I guess I messed his corner up, and he got pretty loose, and he was just kind of drifting it there on the grass, and I just kept slowing up, and then pretty much got to a point where it looked like he wasn't going to catch it. So I was just like, I got to get back on the gas, and around he went. So I think I heard he was a little upset at me in the moment, but I mean, there wasn't much I could do there. I gave him like the whole corner to catch it. So, but it was great battling with Jack, Adam Cole, Josh Mercurio. I actually, we were in the same channel, and I actually semi-seriously said to him, if you block me again, you're getting dumped, because it was like lap 25, and he was blocking me down the front straightaway. because I had fresher tires, and I was like, if that's how you want to stay in the front here with 35 to go, then next time you do it, you're going around. So it didn't come to that, thankfully. And yeah, I mean, I was just trying to get everything I could out of it at the end, but 30 air here was definitely a thing. The right front would stay cooler than the right rear for like half to 2/3 of the run, whether you were in clean air or behind somebody, especially if you used third gear more than fourth. But in turn one there on the white, it just got that little bit too tight, and I knew I wasn't going to win at that point, but I was like, I'll just throw the hell out of it into turn 3 and see how close I can get. And Jack was like, oh, you scared the heck out of me. So that was kind of funny. I was like, yeah, I wasn't going to get you, but I wanted to make it look exciting. I had a chance maybe at 2 to go going into turn 2. I was like kind of getting a little run on him, but it wasn't enough of a run to constitute the dive bomb, so I didn't take it.
Answer the question before. You and Josh Mercurio both led 23 laps.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah, we kind of almost pegged it as the winner. We knew you were going to be up front most of the night, and like I said, where Jack kind of just got you on that pit road thing, and we wasn't too sure if you were going to get him or not going to get him, and I was kind of like, this is going to get interesting. We kind of missed out the fact that Michael Norman got into the third, and Austin LaPlante was still back there, and Santiago Gutierrez was still, they were running. They had some great battles back there, but we were kind of focused on what you guys were doing up front, and
Well, yeah, let me tell you a little secret, Rod. When you're broadcasting and there's 3 laps to go, the only thing that matters is the battle for the win. Who cares about 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th? Like, that don't matter. You can talk about them after the race, but it don't matter with 3 laps to go. You got to focus on the leader.
Yeah, we'll have the camera. I always have the cameras on the leaders, but then he's like, oh my god, there's battles going on all over the place. It was fantastic closing laps, when you're looking at these intervals and how tight everybody was in their own little sections and stuff. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, you like you said, you kind of picked me for the favorite. I mean, I knew I had a really good chance. There was one stage of the race where we had a green flag pit stop, and I came out, and it was going to be probably me and Adam Cole with a good shot against Mercurio, and Jack was like 6 seconds back because he had like a bad pit stop, and right there is where I wanted it to go green to the finish, but it doesn't always play out that way. And I still got a P2, so I'm happy with the P2. First, second here, subbing for guys over at the NNSCRA group. And we're going to run again next week for Road America. So looking forward to that one.
We heard rumor from somebody that if you can get fast enough that you're going to try from the back and see if you can win it from the back.
If I'm like a second faster, I heard Mercurio was really good at Road America last year, so we'll see. But I was like looking at Sonoma from like a month ago, and I was like, well, after like the first 3 laps and when everyone stabilized, Jack was only 26 seconds behind me, and Jack screwed up and sped, and I won that race by almost a minute over Mercurio, so I could have probably started at the rear and just still won that race. But I mean, that's a hypothetical. We'll see. I don't run Road America a lot, but there are a lot of passing zones, and it's a long track, so there would probably be plenty of time to try last the first challenge, but we'll see what happens.
Now, are you subbing?
I might just qualify. Yeah, I'll be in the 84 next week.
You're subbing for somebody, so that makes a difference. That kind of makes a difference, but it would also make for a good storyline to just see you come from the back all the way to the front too.
Yeah, well, that sounded like a good idea at the beginning of the race, and then I almost ran over like 3 people tonight, so I think that idea is a little more on the teetering edge now, because a lot of these guys reminded me how inexperienced they are, and Jarrett did the best he could, but even the little bump I gave him right before the braking zone was enough to kind of knock him out of his concentration, and then he was worried about me running him over through the corner, so that got him even like maybe more out of whack. I'm just guessing, but I mean, that's what it looked like, and that's usually the case when you're one of the top guys, and like there's a guy who's good, but he knows you're really fast. Like there's kind of like a like an intimidation factor there that you're not even really trying to convey. And, that gets guys nervous. And then the next thing you know, they're spinning in front of you.
That's true. Hey, have you got anything more for him? Well,
No, I'm looking forward to next week's race at Road America, man, because after your performance at Sonoma, I think it was like a 53-second gap to second when you won that thing and basically led all the laps. There's a lot of guys here, like even with Merkel and it'll be exciting to see. I love these road courses when we get to go there and check these things out. And with the turnout that we get every Tuesday at this league, there's never a dull moment. We can fly around all over the place, and there's always something going on. So we're looking forward to what goes down next week, man. But yeah, congratulations on leading the most laps. Looks like you and Josh Mercurio will both get bonus points for that. You're tied with the 23, and congratulations.
That don't matter for me.
yeah, because you're more of a part-time thing, but yeah, it's great you're coming back next week, man, because it's going to be good.
Yeah, Road America and the Glen in August. That'll be it for me. There's no other tracks I'm interested in. Maybe Homestead, the season finale, but I don't know. Last year that track crashed Keith's game 3 times, and after restarting the server twice, I'm just kind of like, you're wasting my time. I'm going to bed.
So we're gonna give you the floor to thank the people and whatnot that got you here.
Yeah, I got to thank Cody for the paint scheme and letting me run a scheme. It's nice to run this Red Bull car here at Maverick. I was running it a lot at Fast last year, and I don't run it over there anymore. So I'm happy to run this beautiful paint scheme that Cody Lamas made for me. So can't thank him enough. Got to thank all the NNSCRA guys: Jack, Adam Cole, Seth Cole, of course, let me drive his car for Kansas. Mercurio, even though I threatened to wreck him if he blocked me again. Matt McIntyre, Michael Norman, of course. Dylan Young, who wasn't here tonight. RJ Bishop, who wasn't here tonight. Robbie Gilvin, who was here tonight. You guys for the broadcast. Ben and Keith and all the people that help him putting on the show. And, just happy to be able to do the best I can on the game and have fun at the same time. I don't need to use any illegal EXEs to cheat or anything, even though some people seem to think so, but maybe they're just not good enough.
All right, there was our second place finish tonight. Zach Rogers, congratulations on your second place finish, and looking forward to watch you next week there at Road America.
Thank you.
Thanks, Zach.
Finally, he's here, because usually we lose him. Dude, from the back to the front. This qualifying thing, I think, is helping, and then going to the back, that helped a little bit on that last pit stop. But you finally got it done. Now, isn't this paint scheme one that Gordon won in?
Yes. So actually, both streaks have been broken.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
The win-win was broken last week, and the not win-win was broke this week. So now it's wide open. Now whatever can happen. Thankfully.
So now the question is, you've finally done it from the back to the front. You proved that you could do it. Continuing to do it all the rest of the season, or are we going to see you back qualifying, starting up the front, and start doing some dominating?
Well, that's actually the second time. I won Charlotte doing it as well.
Okay.
But it's a season-long thing. I'm going to do it for the whole season. Unfortunately, it was a really dumb bet that I shouldn't have made, but I am going to commit to it to the whole season. But now I have confidence that I can actually do it.
Charlotte thing, I think the Charlotte was the one where we didn't get to interview you because you had to get up and go. The race ran a little bit longer than normal, but so we ended up interviewing some of the other guys in the top 5 just because you got the top 2 wasn't even around. So all in all, you had a good night. Started at the back, kind of kept an eye on you a little bit during the broadcast. We knew you'd be kind of sneaking up there off and on, and you did. You kind of worked up there. Had a bad pit stop at one point in time that got you back a little bit more further, but still, you just methodically worked your way back up through there. Late pit stop, you really had a great pit stop, got out there with the lead, and although you were being hounded pretty good by Zach, you never faltered. You kept it in the good, right in a nice groove, kept it there where he had to get by you, he had to earn it. So that was all in all a pretty good run.
Yeah, I definitely knew that my 2 biggest the two people I was going to be racing in for were going to be Zach and Adam Cole. Just knew I had to avoid the wrecks. It was a big track. I knew I could get up there to the front. Got that long run there at the front of the race where I ended up working my way back up to, like, I think second before the caution came out, before we had to worry about pitting. And then knew it was going to be a fun, close race at the end, and then Adam Cole got taken out by Ben under that caution. And when that caution came out, I knew it would just come down to me and Zach. But then, those two cars stayed out, and thankfully I came out third and not fourth, and got the restart on the bottom, and was trying to get to the run to make it 3 wide into 1. Didn't get the run, so I knew I just had to back up, let him push, and just drive in under him, and then hope that they could hold Zach up long enough that he couldn't get to me that quick, because I knew once he got there it was going to be a race for sure.
Yeah, those guys had just pitted under green, so they were, that was Cynthia de Gutierrez and Jose Pondon. They were already out there on newer tires. We saw that coming. We figured, and it was actually a fairly decent move. Cynthia still finished 4th. Jose got down to 9th, but still overall that was a better finish for them than where they were when they first did that. You, like I said, finally got it done. You're gonna start in the back at Road America though.
Yeah, I know it didn't go that well for Sonoma, but I'm gonna do it again. Hopefully, I don't get held up as far back on the start, and I can come back around, and maybe hopefully we can get a caution or two at Road America. There's bigger sand traps, so cars will get stuck more often, so there's a chance for another caution. Yeah. But I think, and it's not, it just depends on how fast he is. Roger said he might start in the back with me.
Well, we heard the rumor, we talked to him about it. He's still up in the air about it right at the moment. He made the comment that if he is fast enough in practice, that might be the deciding factor, but he doesn't know if he can make it through there. Obviously, though, he's not driving for himself, he's driving for somebody else. So we're not really sure yet what he's going to do. We're going to keep track of that, though, because that's going to be an interesting storyline with both of you. If you both go to the back.
Yeah, it'll definitely be fun. Definitely
that'll be a fun one to
watch on the stream. I was trying to get through everybody.
Well, he was thinking, too, it sounded to us like it might be a game-time decision, because he knows he's got about 6 or 7 of you guys that are going to be really good competition at that track. So if he's the only one that drops to the back, why do it? So I don't know.
He said that, I think he said something like he wanted to be, if he's not going to do it unless he's at least a few tenths faster than everybody else.
Right.
That's the only way he would do it.
You're going to continue your season by just doing a qualifying session and then requesting it along this line and then going to the back?
Yeah, well, I didn't do it for the first couple of times.
Right.
I just started from the back and didn't qualify. But then I thought about, I can just qualify, get the pit box, a good pit box, and then just go EOL. And thankfully that's helped out the last couple of races, and especially here at Pocono when I was able to beat Zach out of the pits for that final caution.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to mention, the fact that being in that front row on pit road there, that's a long exit to that line. You can really, and we watched it on the replay. Like if you watch the broadcast back, I slow it down in slow motion, and you got them by like just barely, but you got it because there's actually like a race to that line, which is kind of neat, because a lot of times if you're in that first stall, you just have to hammer on it and you just jump right out. But this one's actually kind of far away, so it's kind of neat to watch the little race off pit road there to get to that stripe.
Yeah, that was the main thing, is that we figured out that the first box could just floor it and they wouldn't have to slow down for the line at all. The second box would have to check up before they got there. So I knew that if we could leave the box around the same time, I could get them there, because I wouldn't have to lift it all for pit speed. Because I hit 55 right as I hit the line, so I would never get speeding on it. And so I knew if I could just leave just a little bit with him, I could get him by the line.
Nice. Plus the fact that everybody's behind you has to turn out to get that launch.
Yep, I can just go straight out. You can just go
straight out, yeah. That's a good plan, though. Yeah, qualify wherever you qualify, and then, especially if it's first, it's a bonus because you're straight out.
Sure. I didn't expect that to pull at all. I did not know. I don't know. Usually the first lap was the faster lap on all the Q runs I did, so the second lap I was just trying to see what I could do, and ended up running that 3 or whatever, and kind of blew my mind because I didn't think I was going to be able to go that fast either.
Having that first pit stall is a lot of times a big advantage. I ran in a league once where they would do a qualifying in the first race, and then they would kind of do a random and then let everybody kind of like line up by the how in reverse order of how the current race went. And I said to him, I said, that's not going to work. You can't do that. So we would actually have, people that were going to go out there and would able to go fast, go out and just set there fast. Next three, you got to go this fast, the next three that fast. Just because that first pit stall was such a big advantage. So if you had a guy that won the first race, but yet he had to start in the back, but he was on the first pit stall, still a big advantage.
Yeah, and I don't know if y'all saw it too, but on that last restart, coming through the tunnel turn on that first lap, I thought I was going around.
Very sideways.
I was full lock to the right for half of that corner trying to keep it straight.
Very sideways.
Very nerve-wracking.
Yes, we saw that.
I mean, my heart was in my throat as that happened because I definitely thought I was just going to lose it.
All the way to the wall. Didn't hit it. Sean went all the way to the wall.
And I got lucky, too, because if Rogers had already been clear, he probably would have got around me at that point, but he was still dealing with the 72, so they didn't get a good enough run on me, and I was able to keep the lead, thankfully.
Yep. That was pretty darn awesome. Showing us your drifting skills.
Nothing less for win 140, Still 100 behind Zach, but, that's not the point.
I never kept track.
I think my number might be right. I've done lost the note file and so many times. I'm probably either above or behind. I don't really know. I think it's 140. I really don't know. Not 100% certain.
Yeah.
What number are you looking for? Sorry.
How many wins I have.
Geez. Okay.
I started keeping track of it late, and I've lost the note file a couple times, so I think I'm right, but I'm probably a couple up or a couple down. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't think mine's up that high, but I don't know where it is.
A ways behind. I don't think I'll ever catch Rogers. Still a ways behind him.
Well, if he retires for a few years.
Yeah, I mean, that would be ideal.
Get him to move out of the way for a little while, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Blaine, if you ain't got nothing more for him, I think we're going to let that boy thank the people he got to get him here, and you probably got to go to work, don't you?
Yeah, man, let her rip. We'll wrap this thing up, but we'll let you do your thing first, and looking forward to seeing next week's race. That'll be pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah. Just thanks to Fortnite Squad Racing for giving me another good car, and DuPont for finally being on the car for a win, and glad we could go out there and get that win, especially against Rogers, and hopefully we can do it again next week and get a couple more before the season's over with and bring home this championship. That'd be nice. Appreciate it.
And there we go.
That's it.
Final win, come from the back winner, as he's been trying all season. Jack Merkel. Don't call him Zach now. Jack Merkel. Our points leader, pole sitter tonight, and our eventual winner. So congratulations, Jack.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Have a good night. There you go, Jack Merkel. Race. Great race.
Quick, fast race.
Yeah.
5 cautions over for the night, which was really good for these guys, and some great racing out there.
Yeah, to see him come from the back like that again. I watched the interval. I kind of had it up there and thinking, man, he's knocking a second off every lap, just getting these guys. A couple guys got in the way. Obviously, you have to. You lose and you gain. You lose and you gain, but. Yeah, it was definitely fun. It's definitely fun to watch. That strategy is pretty awesome. Qualify, get your pit stop, and then challenge yourself to see if you can. And that only works if there's enough green flag laps to do it. And tonight was let me see, we only had a couple of yellows.
5
right?
cautions.
What was it? 5? Yeah, 5 for 16 laps. So
and
it worked out great.
I think the top stories as you look at it, Jack Merkel finally comes from the back. Which, again, mind you, he qualified on the pole, but he drops to the back. He finally got that win. Zach Rogers does not win, which is a new one. Michael Norman coming out there for third. Santi Gutierrez did different strategy, paid off. He finishes in fourth. Austin the Plant, once again, still top 5 finish. And then I think the other one we got to say, Jorge Pochon, sorry about that, still stayed out there, wasn't really on older tires, but stayed out there and still finished 9th in the top 10. So that strategy paid off.
Yeah, and I just compiled the export after 11 races from what I'm seeing. Of course, these are unofficial results because I'm just going off of the exports that we get from the race. sometimes those are modified to the actual point system, but I'm showing that Jorge Pachon has gone up 2 positions to 7th in the standings with his finish today. So that's pretty awesome. Gutierrez has a 4-place bump. Norman has a 4-place bump. And Bishop dropped 4, and Dorsey dropped 4. Those guys, they didn't even start. So, oh wait, was Tate here?
Yes.
Yes, he was. But yeah, that's, a lot of movement, Obviously, Jack's still leading this thing because he won the race, but it's very interesting. Top 10. There's a little bit of shuffling every week. There's a little bit of movement. But, great race for Sandy Gutierrez. Great race for Jorge Pachon. Both those guys gambling on the pit stop at the end gained them a lot of track position.
Yep.
And Michael Norman, too, to get a big bump in points as well.
Yeah, that was a great night of racing, actually.
Yeah, on the podium for him. But, yeah, it's 10:30, so I'm probably going to go to sleep.
I got to go to bed, and then I got a busy couple days.
Nice. Well, if
you saw the picture, so.
Yes, yeah, you got some repairs to do on the carts.
One cart showed up yesterday, all together. Right now, it's completely in pieces in my garage. So.
Yeah, got to make sure
it's not even one of mine.
Safe. You got to make sure it's safe, right? So you got to rebuild it.
We got some issues with it that we got to figure out. It ended up getting, unfortunately, my second cart lost its brakes, and as she come around the corner, they all stopped, and she. Very new at it. I'm very proud of her. She did a great job, but she ended up running into the back of the 21, bending the tire axle. So we're putting a new axle in it, but that cart was having problems, so it's here to get those problems fixed.
Cool. Hopefully everything's in working order by Sunday, is it? You're doing it again Sunday?
Yep, this Sunday. Hopefully I'll be here in time. I can't guarantee it. It's been going pretty long. And so
yeah, we've got Brian Wolf will be joining us as well. So if you are able to show up, it'll be a 3-man broadcasting booth because it is Primetime Racing League's championship race at the Sunday Speedway Spartans Series.
Gotta thank
Sunday
Brian
on this channel. So there you go.
I gotta thank Brian for covering for me because unfortunately my real racing takes priority. So.
Oh yeah,
it's hard to get home when we finish so late. So.
Yep, we'll be there waiting for you, and if not, we'll take care of it. But yeah, thanks again, man, for coming out and helping with this on Tuesday nights. This is a lot of fun. What a fantastic race! Looking forward to Road America next week, and
Absolutely.
after that, where are we after that? Road America next week, and then the only race in July, Daytona International Speedway on the 8th. There's 5 Tuesdays into July, but we're only racing on one of them, so they got the whole month off, almost.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we'll see everybody at Road America next week. And anything you had to say before we bail?
Oh, no, just a great race tonight. The guys are these green flag pit stops, green flag runs. I think it's really awesome. The race was just, really, really cool. Kind of they always start like they did, a few cautions early, but no, they get it straightened out and then we go. Actually, don't even think they had a caution cool down tonight, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we were reminded in the YouTube chat by Budget Customs that there's the 5 laps to go is the point of no return. We forgot about that because there was a couple of spins. I'm like, oh, they're leaving the green up. And I'm like, yeah, no, they don't pull yellow in the last 5. Yeah. So that, because we were at prime time the last couple of Sundays, I forgot about the little rules that are different with Maverick. So yeah, within 5 to go, no yellows. Let's just get to the finish and get those checkers. So that's a cool way to do it. But yeah, man, thanks again for joining us.
Absolutely.
Or joining me on Tuesday evening. Thanks to all the viewers who watched this thing for joining us and interacting on the YouTube channel. And as always, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Keep your stick on the ice.